For my Innocent project, I chose to profile Stephen Avery, a Wisconsin native. I chose him because I've seen a documentary on his trials over the last 30 or so years. But the present case that we will be discussing today is when he was 22 years old and convicted of rape. He spent almost 20 years in prison, 18 in fact. He was sentenced to 32 years, so he had done over half of that time before he was released. The incident occurred on July 29th, 1989. The background of the situation revolves around the victim going on a jog along Lake Michigan shoreline when she is assaulted. Her description of the assailant prompted the police to provide 9 photographs matching the description, and the victim selected Stephen Avery as the one who committed the crime. So at the trial, the victim does identify Avery as the assailant, as well as a state forensic examiner testifies that hair found on Avery's shirt looks identical to the victim's hair. Stephen Avery was able to provide 16 alibi witnesses that helped secure his, or at least attempt to secure his innocence. His strongest was of a store clerk and the video footage from the store that put him and his family, wife and 5 children, at the store at 5:13 p.m. purchasing whatever they were buying. The assault occurred at 3:50 p.m. Now, they gave an estimated time of 15 minutes for the assault to have taken place. So that gives Avery a little over an hour to leave the scene, walk to a rest stop that's a mile away, drive home, pack up his family, wife and 5 children into the car, and drive to the store, which was a 45-minute drive. So with all of this put forth, jury spends about 4 hours deliberating and convicts Avery solely on the eyewitness account. And this was on the 14th of December, 1985. There was improper forensic science implemented and false eyewitness accounts for the trial that pinned Avery in a place that he was not. So 10 years later, there are many appeals that are denied, but a petition for DNA testing is granted and shows that the victim had DNA under her fingernails of an unknown person. However, this was not enough to do anything for Avery, and so a new trial is denied. In April 2002, attorneys of the Wisconsin Innocent Project obtained a court order for DNA testing of the 13 hairs found on the victim. These match George Allen's DNA, the person who committed the crime. There is a striking resemblance between the two, making it apparent as to why the victim chose Avery, because they looked very similar. Also going through a traumatic experience, this can be seen why. And then September 11th, 2003, the charges were dismissed and Avery was set free. He then, of course, proceeds to commit a crime with his nephew And that's a whole different matter. But he was proven innocent through the Innocence Project. The misidentification and the lack of proper forensic science implemented during the trial caused an innocent man to go to prison for 18 years. George Allen was eventually convicted for this crime, having already been convicted for another crime that he committed soon after this incident occurred. It is extremely valuable to have something like the Innocence Project, because had this been a case where Stephen Avery was tried and put on death row for one of those crimes and put to death, he would have been put to death for something he didn't do. And because science is always catching up, I believe it's more than valuable to have people constantly trying to make the truth known. All these men and women who have been tried, found guilty for things they have not done, I'm sure, however much of their life has been taken from them, having them proven innocent in the eyes of the state and in the courts is such a huge change. This was Stephen Avery's conviction and trial, and the course to prove his innocence.